Is your property a leasehold or freehold? The reason why I ask is because a lot of people don't know the difference between the two. They don't know for leaseholders that if your lease runs down to a certain number of years, then your property might be unmortgageable. So that means for property investors, you can't refinance, leveraging your property to acquire more properties. And that also means for property dwellers, people that live inside those properties, you can't remortgage. So you can't fish around for the best mortgage rates either. Either route you look at in this situation, you're stuck with the same mortgage company and potentially could be exploited because of it. But first, if you guys like what I do, what my channel represents, and most importantly, it inspires you to start your own investment journey, then you guys know what you have to do. You have to smash that like button, share this video too, and subscribe with notification bell on as well. Oh, and I forgot to mention, if you guys want to start your property journey, maybe you might have the capital, but you just don't have the experience. So maybe you might want to partner up with someone that's got the experience. Then I'm only a message away, guys. Feel free to contact me. But back to the task at hand. You see, if your property is a freehold property, then you as the property owner, that makes you the freeholder. And effectively what that means is that you own the property, but also the land underneath it. A classic example is being the owner of a 2-floor terraced house. And the way you know you're a freeholder is because guess what? You own the property, but you also own the land underneath it. And you know that because you can do gardening, guys. You can decorate the garden however you want to decorate it. That's how you know you're a freeholder. But if your property is a leasehold, then you as the owner are technically a leaseholder, which means that you own that property for a number of years. Now most leases last for a really long time. We're talking about hundreds of years. Some even fetch into 1,000 years, guys. So with those sort of leases, not even you, your children's children, no matter how many times you want to say children, will even get to see the end of that lease ending. But the real issue occurs when you approach closer towards that lease ending. But I'm not going to discuss that just yet, because there's actually another disadvantage of being a leaseholder. And it's that you don't own the land underneath it. Instead, this belongs to the freeholder, the person who you're leasing that property from. And so because the property is going to eventually revert back to them owning it, but instead what you're temporarily doing, is renting out a piece of land, that therefore means as the leaseholder, you are subject to ground rent, which will be a monthly fee that you, the leaseholder, would pay the freeholder in order for you to have access to having your property above their piece of land. Most flats in England and Wales tend to be leasehold properties, and you also get quite a lot of leasehold maisonettes too. I know from the outside looking in, it could seem like being a freeholder is miles better than being a leaseholder, which to be honest I kind of agree with, guys, because you don't have to worry about paying that ground rent, and you also don't have to worry about this gradually ticking expiration date of when the lease finally ends. This may be true, but as a leaseholder, there are some things that you can do to help yourself in that vulnerable position. And ultimately it boils down to 3 things. The very first point will always be the main point. It's being prepared. And this involves reading your lease to find out how many years are left on it, and being many more years ahead of the game. Don't wait until, the lastminute.com to want to extend your lease. Be tens of years in advance, guys. Remember that if your mortgage goes down to 75 years or lower, then your property pretty much becomes unmortgageable. And this can leave you in a really sticky situation. And the second and third point can be bunched together, and it's to make sure that you get competent property surveyors and solicitors in your corner fighting, negotiating your lease extension to the freeholder, and at a reasonable cost too. It's not uncommon for lease extensions to cost tens of thousands of pounds to pay the freeholder. So you want to make sure you've got the top-notch people in your corner fighting your battles for you to get the longest possible extension for the cheapest possible price. Honestly, the process of extending your lease is a video within itself. I could spend all day talking about it, but just know that there are measures that you, the leaseholder, can take, legal measures at that, to force the freeholder into a corner and into extending that lease for you. And if you guys want me to make a whole video on lease extension strategies, then guess what, guys? I need to know. And you can do that by leaving a comment down below. All in all, I think most of us would rather be a freeholder than a leaseholder, which is easy to understand. But for the ever-growing housing shortage, this means that some of us will be owning leasehold properties instead. I myself have a combination of leasehold properties and freehold properties, so this shouldn't be a deterrent. I'm an avid believer that for the right level of preparation, you can almost tackle any issue, guys, and this is no exception either. The key part is just reading your lease, guys, to know where you stand and what actions you need to take next in advance though. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video because I've enjoyed making it. Before you leave, don't forget to like this video, share it too, and subscribe with the notification bell on as well. It's your favourite YouTuber, Learn Finance, sharing my thoughts and my experiences with you guys every Sunday at 3 PM. Have a great day, people. Bye.
Whoa.